lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So sweeties, I know today is not a usual day for me to have a video up, but I have a good reason. Sweeties, when you see this the day before yesterday, I got this. Ta-da! So this is the Beauty Bay and Nikkie Tutorials collaboration palette, and I am so thrilled that I have this now and that it got here like reasonably fast, you know? I ordered this the second it dropped. I am like right now when something drops or something goes on pre-sale, I have to say this is against all my rules, but especially with a palette like this is limited edition, and I don't know, I think it's even not on the website anymore right now, on the Beauty Bay website, but I don't know if it's coming back or I don't know what, but I am these days just jumping at things and buying them if I want them, you know, because I kind of feel like with the whole world being out of control, what am I waiting for? What am I waiting for? Seriously, so this is what we've been waiting for. This is how she looks from the outside, and it is really, really special. I watched her video, the release video, where she actually revealed how the palette looks from the inside, and she said that this is her temple, right? This is her temple. So this is basically the light side and this is the dark side. Like we all have light and dark sides. And I actually, maybe I'm going to share something about that too. Anyway, so here we go. This is the light side basically, and this is the dark side. All right, so it's so cute. You have two mirrors, one here and one there, and then here it says I am me, and here it says you are you, which is true. All right, so today I did my first impression look with this palette, which looks like this. I'm going to talk to you about that. But anyway, let's talk about the packaging. First of all, I already showed you. This is how it opens. There's a good magnetic closure. It's cardboard packaging. We have, of course, these two color schemes. While I have to say that the dark side is not that dark. You know, it's more like the dark packaging. And yes, there are a few darker shades, but it's not like super, super dramatic dark, right? But we, of course, have to also take into consideration that this palette is Nikkie's palette with her favorites, with what she stands for, what she vibes with. It totally makes sense, you know? I also said that when I spoke about this palette in my new makeup releases video, where I said, you know what, I do not expect Nikkie or any other creator, or if it is a creator like a woman of color, you know, like Jackie Aina, for example, that she would make a palette that serves me. You know, yes, I can use her palette, of course, because, you know, it's beautiful. And I guess for us, for lighter people, sort of, for us, it's easier maybe to use palettes that lean darker than for people of color who have to then use something that leans lighter. You know, but still, with all of that being said, I think it is absolutely legitimate that Nikkie came out with a palette that is as light as this one. It is pretty light, with the exception of a few very colorful shades, of course. Okay, so we have mostly the mattes are the colorful and vibrant ones because, you know, that is what vibes with me also. And okay, so here we have a bit of a light orange, then we have a light pink, which I also used today. I'll tell you about my look in just a second. Then we have this dark burgundy here, we have this red, we have a light blue, of course we have the browns here, they are also mattes, bone color matte, then we have this green, and then this is like a corally shade, and this is of course a very dark, not a very dark, but like a royal blue. Okay, so anyway, these are the mattes, and of course the rest are shimmers, and the shimmers for the most part are leaning very light with the exception of this, but even this is a pretty light blue. Okay, I have not used this yet. I don't know how it performs. I already dipped my finger into this. Yeah. Okay, so we're still learning. Okay, let me just hold this up to you so maybe you can see it a little bit better. So this is how the palette looks from close up. Okay, so anyway, I am super thrilled that I got the chance to work with this, because now let's talk about the performance, because sweeties, I am trying a lot of stuff these days, you know, and it's also not the first Beauty Bay palette. I have the, what's it called, the Bright Mattes palette. I have it, this one. This is the one, EYN Bright Matte palette, 42 colors. This is the other Beauty Bay palette that I have, and I've already featured this on my panel. on my channel. Yeah, all right. And this is an all matte palette. Okay, so it is a little bit different, of course. I never had tried the shimmer formula of Beauty Bay, and I also don't know if the shimmer formula is always the same or if they came up with something special for Nikkie, which wouldn't surprise me because, you know, Nikkie deserves that. Why not? Okay, so I think the performance, let's talk about the mattes because this is what I used first. The mattes, it's hard to hold this up. Okay, so the mattes were spectacular. Sweeties, the mattes were spectacular. Let's talk about what I have above my crease. Maybe I should zoom you in. Is this turning into a big mess here? Totally uncoordinated, but you know what? It's like 20 minutes of being excited with Leorah, okay? So let's just vibe with it. All right, so it's just the excitement of actually having something that is right now relevant. You know, because I never have that. So, all right, so let's talk about the mattes. Of course, at the inner part of my crease, and that is also the first shade I actually put on my face today, was this one. This pink matte, and I put it on and I didn't expect much because it is very light and, you know, it's a light pink. So what do I expect? But sweeties, that came with a boom. It absolutely came with a boom, and it continued like that with all of the other shades. So I went going outwards in my crease. I went with this one and then I blended it into this one. My goal was, of course, to use as much as I can in one look to get a good first impression, but not to be like super crazy that I cannot go outside. I don't know. I hope I succeeded. So that is what I have above my crease, of course. And then on my lid, I went into this one here. And then from there into this one where it then meets this one again. Okay, so that's what I did. In the inner corner, I have this shade here. And then under my eye, what did I do? Oh, first of all, I used two different eyeliner pencils, a light green and a teal kind of or turquoise kind of a shade. They're both from Pore. They will be, of course, also linked in the description box. So that's what I did on my waterline. And then under my waterline, I basically put this shade down, blended it out with the yellow, and then backed up or gave it a little bit more depth right under my lash line with the dark blue. Okay, so that is basically, I don't know if I'm blinding you, I'm sorry, and you see the mess on my table. All right, so anyway, that is basically what I used for the look today. And I have to say, sweeties, the performance of the matte spot was outstanding. Outstanding. The pigmentation, especially I have to say in the red shades, like above my eye, you know, was absolutely outstanding. And I'm in shock. I'm in absolute shock because that was not an expensive palette, you know. I don't know, where does this come from? I don't even recall it from the other palette. I mean, it is now over a year that I used this, so maybe I've just forgotten. But this formula was really, really good. Okay, from the shades that I've used so far. Okay, so maybe we should go also into the swatches while I'm talking to you. Now, it was not my brightest moment to put on this shirt because the arms are really, really close to my, like the sleeves, not the arms, the sleeves. English is not my mother tongue, sweeties, okay? Okay, so I'm going to swatch this on my arm and it's very tight, so we shall see. I'm gonna go row by row and I'm going to start with that light orange shade that I have not used on my eye yet. Let's see, I'm very nervous about the mattes because I don't like swatching mattes. What can I do? All right, so you can see this is not what I'm good at. Let's put it that way. I'm good at putting on makeup, you know, that's basically the extent of it. Okay, so that is the orange. I'm also going to, of course, include a swatch video where you can see it closer up, okay? So now we're gonna go into that pink shade that I have in the inner part of my crease, which was so exceptional. They feel very, very soft and velvety. Swatching wise, I don't want to even like say that they don't swatch well. It's just because, you know, it's the typical breakup situation where you say like, it's me, it's not you, it's me. You know, it's me. It's definitely me. Okay, so then we are going into the first shimmer, and maybe I should also, while I'm doing that, talk about the shimmer formula, because Nikkie also said in the video, in the launch video, that some of them work better. That's cute. That's like a white. I've not used that on my eye yet. Work better when you apply them with your finger. maybe you can see that this is really, really pretty. So anyway, I have that experience too. It's not like they don't work with a brush, because I tried, first of all, because I wanted to know, you know, I tried to put those two shimmers on with a brush, but it is a little bit thinner. And then I checked, there's a little card that comes with the palette where she says, you know, please go according to this. This is my recommendation to you, you know, so you can see which shades are made in what formula, so you know how they work best. And of course, it says there, you know, used with a finger, it's going to be better results. So that is definitely true. Anyway, they worked fine, and I also blended them out then with the brush, because for me it's also, when I'm working like this and dabbing it on with my finger, you cannot really have anything precise going on, you know, you're sort of winging it. So doing a real cut crease or something, I don't know if I could do that, honestly, if I'm working like this, you know. But I will definitely have to work with the palette a little bit more. This doesn't look so bad. I will definitely have to work with the palette a little bit more and see what else I can come up with besides dabbing it on with my finger, so I can have a little bit more of like a precise job, you know, if I want to have a precise job. All right, we're going on into the darkest brown that is in the palette, and that is, what is that, 5 a.m. Okay, 5 a.m. that is when I've already been awake for like an hour and a half. So if anyone thinks 5 a.m. impresses me, it doesn't. It's sleeping in. Okay, so anyway, this is that darker matte, and then we're going into a shimmer which is super, super pretty. It's called Roxy Catan, I think. Okay, so I have to say, now that I'm moving the shades around here with my finger while I'm doing the swatches, there is quite a bit of kick up here in the pan. Ooh, but this is beautiful. Oh, but this is beautiful. Okay, I have not used this on my eye, but that is definitely going to be in my next look. This is pretty. This is super, super pretty. It looks like this is the corresponding shimmer to this one. It also looks like that is definitely a duochrome. There is like a golden shift to it, you know. Super, super pretty. Okay. Yeah. Next one is a lemon yellow, I would say, like a matte lemon yellow. Okay, so the swatching of the mattes is an issue, but sweeties, if you're not new here, then you know that it's always a bit of a scary situation for me. I'm not the best at swatching mattes, definitely not. So again, I don't want to blame the palette for it necessarily, but yeah. All right, we have the red that I have in the middle above my crease. Maybe one doesn't see it so much anymore. That swatched nicely. This swatched really, really nicely, and as always, I cannot do anything straight. In my life, nothing is straight, you know, it's not. Anyway, this is a nice swatch, very, very good. I do not know if there is any staining, because, you know, I don't know how it's going to be when I'm taking this off tonight. But anyway, so the next brown shade is a bit of a lighter brown than the one we had before. This is the shade Mila. Is it Mila? I think so. All right, I'm 41 years old. I need to lift the palette to see the shade names. All right, this is the shade. This is a medium, like a warm medium brown matte. Also swatches pretty good, you know, considering that I'm swatching it on a very like light skin tone also. Okay, and then a shade that I'm also pretty excited about, which is a nice cold, obviously cold, but a taupe shimmer. And I love taupe shimmers. It's beautiful. And then we're already done with half of the palette. Let's see how this looks. This is also leaning duochrome. I'm not 100% sure if it actually is, but it looks like there's like a silver shift in this taupe, which of course makes it also cold, which is nice. All right, let's see if we have enough room to finish the swatches on this arm. Yeah. Are you still watching, sweeties? Are you with me? Okay, next one is the light blue, which is called Plot Twist. Plot Twist. Okay, let's see if this shows up on me. Not so much. Now, my arm is not prepped in any way. You know, I have to also say that, because I think they would perform much, much better if I had like a primer or something on my arm, but I don't. Okay, next thing is the shade that I have in the middle on my lid, which is like a corally kind of a shimmer, which is beautiful. Really, really beautiful. There you the shimmers though, sweeties. I have to say the mattes are not swatching so well, but they are performance-wise on an unset surface, on my eye, absolutely superb. And these, I have no words. No words. Beautiful. All right, next one is a bone color matte, so I cannot promise that you're going to see this one. This is Basic Trut, maybe? I don't know what all of this means. All right, Basic Trut. Yeah, this is basically my skin tone because of course Nikki and I are friends and she made this palette for me. All right, I'm trying to build this up, but it doesn't make much sense. Okay, so anyway, it is there. And then we're going into the shade that is in my inner corner today, which is also a duochrome. It's like a warm, sparkly, kind of a golden shade with a shift to it. Like it has a, it's more than a duochrome, honestly. I think this is like a trichrome or something because it has a purple shift and like a yellow-green shift. It's super pretty. I don't know if you can see this, but the shimmers in this palette, when applied with a finger, you know. Okay, the green that I have under my under my eye is a matte, and that is called EW or EU. Oh, sweeties, can you see that I'm really excited? Okay, so you can see the mattes are swatching like mattes. I don't know. I'm getting there. At some point I will learn how to do this properly. Okay, this is the green. It's a very, very beautiful sort of neutral to cold leaning green, which is nice. You know, it doesn't have to be like a warm green all the time. And then I'm swatching the shade that I have at the inner corner of my lid, which is like a cold pink, which is super intriguing. Super, super intriguing. This is the first thing that I saw in the palette that I initially like wanted to use immediately. So this also has like a silver shift, which of course makes it cold, and it's beautiful. And I don't know if you can see how foiled they are. It's unbelievable. Okay, next thing is that corally matte, which is sort of a corresponding matte to this shimmer right here. Like this. Not too shabby. This is how it looks. Now I'm actually super excited to go into that blue shimmer. What is this called? Mama Tutorials, of course. Mama Tutorials, because I've not used that. And I actually, besides that pink that I just spoke about, I actually wanted to do just a blue look, you know, but then I thought that is not enough for a first impression. I really want to know a little bit more. So this is a very, very beautiful baby blue shimmer. While I'm not entirely sure anymore if one is still allowed to say baby blue, like baby boy blue, because, you know, one cannot do anything anymore these days. So I don't know. I must say though that I have a huge mess here on my table now because of the mattes, you know? It's not like they're super crumbly or anything, but now that I'm like moving in them in the pan with my finger, it is a bit of a situation here. Does anyone want to come and clean up? All right, so that is the dark blue, which I also have, of course, close to my lower lash line, like that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that is the dark blue. Let's call it Amsterdam. Let's call it Amsterdam. That's the shade. And then we have another shade where I previously dug my fingers in already. Such a mess. Okay, and that is Mr. Tutorials. Ah, okay. Okay, so this is like a bronzy shade, but not warm, I would say. Yeah, or not too warm. Sort of neutral leaning, if you ask me. From what I can see now. Maybe, you know, there is like a golden hint to it, but like not overwhelmingly warm, which is nice. Okay, so there we go, sweeties. Okay, let me just include a swatch video where you see this up close, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the palette. sweeties, I hope you did enjoy the swatches up close. And I have to say, my next look, which is going to be my tomorrow morning, this is actually the day when you're seeing this, I'm going to do the next look with this, and I think I want to definitely use that corally shade, this one right here, and I definitely want to also use that taupe. And yeah, I'm super excited to do more looks with this, but for now, as a first impression, and you know that I used to not be super thrilled about first impressions, but I actually got a nice input from my friend Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner, because she said, you know what, I feel, as her saying, I feel that it is so valuable also to get the first impression. You can always come back later, do another video on this or whatever, but the first impression is really like the instant vibe that you're getting from a person, how she's using the palette, and how that first moment with the palette is. It's like two new people meeting, and that is a good point, you know, because there is something in that. I don't want to dismiss first impressions altogether, but I still do believe that reviews are, they give you more information. So I think I definitely want to do, of course, more looks with this than just this one. Yeah, but for today, I think it was an absolute winner. An absolute winner. I loved every second of this performance and of getting ready today and doing all of this. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's a struggle for so many reasons, but today it was good, you know, and I love that. So anyway, what do I think about the palette? Packaging we spoke about, it's super beautiful. It's very, very special also. I personally do not believe that this is super practical necessarily, but I do get why she did it. And it's nice that she put so much of herself into this palette and even into the design, besides even the shade range. So speaking about the shade range, I was surprised when she said that she's going to collaborate with Beauty Bay and coming out with a palette without having seen the palette itself. I thought it's going to be like the cake palette from Glamlight. I never thought that her palette would actually be quite neutral, because maybe it's not 100% neutral, but it's like lovely, gentle, mostly, you know, and that is actually something where I just saw a different aspect of Nikkie, which is nice, because we deserve to have that. We deserve to have everything. We deserve to live all our aspects in our life, and that is one aspect of her life, or she has put, of course, several aspects of her life into this palette, and I'm sure as the time goes on, also she is going to find more aspects in her life, and if she were to make a palette, which she probably will with all kinds of brands at some point, if she's going to make a palette in 5 years from now or in 10 years from now, it's going to look completely different, you know, because, you know, speaking about myself now, I've just turned 41, and I am so different than even when I was 35, or of course when I was 30. So we're all on a journey, and the journey doesn't stop when you're 18 or when you're 25, you know, it goes on, and I guess if you were to come out with a palette when you're 80, you're still going to have a development there. It's still going to be different. You're still going to be fine-tuning yourself. So this is basically a milestone, you know. This is not the end of the journey. This is a milestone in her journey, and that is amazing. And I'm so glad that she got to do this, that she got to have a successful collab without drama, as far as I know, without anything negative, with Beauty Bay being super supportive also of the things that have been happening in her life. And yeah, so I'm super thrilled, and I'm falling more and more in love with this palette. More and more, seriously. So anyway, design and theme I spoke about already. Buildability was absolutely there. like you wouldn't believe, especially the mattes, super beautiful. Blendability was also there. Staining, I don't know, I already told you, I cannot know that yet. Creasing, I don't see anything creasing. I did this, what's the time now? Let's see. I did this look about 5 hours ago, you know, at 4 in the morning, so now it's around 9 o'clock almost. So I did this 5 hours ago, and I don't see any problem, you know? So that is that. Do I have favorites in the palette? It's hard to say after just one look, but But I was totally blown away, first of all, by this pink shade here, because maybe that was just because it's the first shade that I used and it just blew me away how it performed. It was really, really amazing. And of course the shimmers are stunning, absolutely stunning. And I say that especially now after having swatched them, because you know, when you're having them on your lid, and I still have a lot of space on my eyes, you know, a lot of people don't have so much space, so it's hard to get an impression, a good impression on the performance of a shimmer on such a small area. So when you're seeing it like this, and I see how amazing they look and how amazing they swatched and how amazing they feel, then I just feel like, how did you do that? You know, so I am absolutely in awe with this, and I'm so glad that I got this palette. I don't know if this is coming back. If you're interested, I highly recommend, if this is of course a color scheme that you like, I highly recommend you to get this. It's also not super expensive. So yeah, I really, I'm thrilled. Plus, of course, I love to support Nikkie also on her journey, and I don't know if she needs my support. But anyway, you know, we all here in the beauty community especially need just positive people, you know, and I'm not being positive just to be positive. I'm being positive because there is actual good reason for it, you know. So yeah, I hope you did enjoy me being excited for the longest amount of time. But I just had to get the word out there because it is really worth my while to talk about this, you know. I mean, if there is something, a palette that I'm trying and I think like, and I'm dragging my feet, I don't think necessarily I would make a video dedicated on this. Maybe I would mention it in a video or something, that was not so good or whatever. But you know, if something is that good and it's so much fun to work with it, then you know, I just really want to also feature it and give it a big shout out, because it is absolutely deserved. And really chapeau to Beauty Bay for bringing out something so amazing, for reaching out to Nikkie Tutorials, and I'm super thrilled. Yeah, so that is that. I am so glad that I got to sit here today with you, and I hope you did enjoy yourself. Please of course leave me your comments in the comment section down below, and if you're new here, then please feel free to browse around in my content and see what you like. If you find something you like, then please subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of mixed content here. It's lifestyle and beauty, so just so you know what you're getting yourself into. And I will see you here on Sunday for my next video, and up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.